Hey everyone, and welcome back to the SCREENY. Pawn Stars is a beloved show dedicated to the only family-run pawn shop in Las Vegas. It's safe to say we all love the show for our own reasons. Some people watch the show for the sales and business aspect, while the majority of viewers tune in to see nifty items and collections. With the 2019 movie The Rise of Skywalker being a massive success, Star Wars is a hot topic again. Because of this, today we're going to be looking at the rarest Star Wars items ever seen on Pawn Stars. Before we begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos about your favorite movies and TV shows. Number 7. Rare Boba Fett action figure prototype.
This is the rarest, most significant Star Wars prototype in the world.
The most significant Star Wars prototype in the world is a pretty serious claim to start with, but Robert, the owner of this rare Boba Fett action figure, greets us with just that, and honestly, I'm not surprised. The one-of-a-kind rocket-firing Boba Fett is a 1979 Toy Fair prototype that was never mass-produced because of fears that the missile would be a choking hazard for small children.
Where it actually projects and shoots this little tiny rocket out of its back. Kenner realized that little rocket is a choking hazard and could actually go down a child's throat.
The concern came up when several kids choked on pieces to a similar toy from Battlestar Galactica. Because of this, its price is extremely high, with Robert asking for $150,000.
I am asking $150,000 firm.
Rick, of course, was iffy about the purchase, so we brought in a Star Wars expert.
It's a one-of-one we're talking about here. Minimal $125,000.
Despite getting plenty of praise from the Star Wars consultant, $125,000 is the general idea on the price, causing Rick to bargain down to $100,000. Robert declines though, and leaves without nothing but Boba. Number 6. Star Wars Collectibles. Here we have a collection of 7 different action figures from Kenner, the same people that almost brought you the Boba Fett toy from number 7. Between 1978 and 1985, they sold 300 million of these figures. I'm hoping to walk out of here with at least $5,500. We hear from our seller, clearly planning to negotiate. However, he goes in asking for $11,000.
Any idea of what you're looking to get out of them?
$11,000.
Corey is a little skeptical, having not seen any of the Star Wars films, and lowers the price significantly.
I can see paying you like $5, man.
No, I don't.
I gotta be the one to sell them.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not even close.
After offering $5,000, Corey is met with disagreement, and the price is raised up to $7,500.
I'm looking for $7,500. You'll turn an instant profit of a couple $1,000s without an effort.
After a couple back and forths, our seller finally agrees to $7,000. Despite the sale, the seller then criticizes himself a bit at the end, telling us his father was a salesman who probably would have advised him to go a little higher. Number 5. Original Star Wars screen-used props. Next up, we have official on-screen props from the films themselves.
This is a resin blaster. It was used by stormtroopers in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Sweet.
Star Wars fans are the craziest, the nuttiest, and they pay the most is a very accurate statement we get to hear just before this $80,000 request.
If this is what this guy says it is, I think we have some serious money here.
Being a little skeptical, Rick decides to call in his personal Star Wars super nerd, who lets the team know he has to verify authenticity before giving a quote.
There's no doubt in my mind that this is screen used. So that's a big piece right there.
After he talks to his own connections, he seems pretty confident that these pieces are indeed what our seller claims they are. But will this solidify the $80,000 price point? Unfortunately not, as the consultant only gauges the full collection at $75K, right below what the seller was hoping for. Rick offers $50K, but as the seller so cleverly points out himself, that is a galaxy far, far away from the expected price.
I'll give you 50 grand for him.
50 I can't do. We're a galaxy far, far away, no pun intended, but
Number 4. Ultra Rare Star Wars Collection. We begin our journey at the George Lucas stage, where Luke receives his lightsaber and where Obi-Wan tells him about the Force.
This is where Luke gets the lightsaber. This is where Obi-Wan tells him about the Force. This right here is where they film that at.
A little bit down the road, we're introduced to Jason, a member of the Kurtz Joyner Archive that preserves things of Star Wars history. One of the first items we see is an officially autographed poster signed by Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and many more. We also have Luke Skywalker's actual lightsaber. And last but definitely not least, we have a handwritten rough draft for the first film, though this piece is not for sale.
I've got chills.
That's amazing.
This is something that I never could imagine existing.
That has to be worth at least $5 million.
Because of this collection's incredible rarity in history, both parties agreed on $34,000.
Do it 34 and you got yourself a deal.
You got a deal.
Thank you very much.
I imagine it will sell quickly.
Number 3. Star Wars Topps set, poster, and Death Star model. Here we have a set of Topps cards, but with no baseball players in sight, because this is of course a Star Wars themed collection. The majority of these cards are autographed, and so is the poster our familiar seller Robert brought along with him. Once again, Robert is shooting for a collective amount of $150,000, and once again, Rick lowers to $100,000. They can't agree on price though, so Robert offers to leave and come back with something else.
I'm back.
So what's this, like a board game?
No.
This time, our Star Wars seller comes back with the model of the Death Star, the planet-sized machine featured in the films. This time, Robert is asking for $25,000, with his main reasoning being that it would get him a quarter of the way to owning the Millennium Falcon.
It'll get me a quarter way to buying the Millennium Falcon, which is for sale now. So I'm really excited about trying to purchase that.
Star Wars nerds don't know when to quit, do they? Rick agrees that it's pretty cool, but $25K is just too much. Rick offers $15,000, but neither party budged. This is still no doubt one of the coolest Star Wars collectibles displayed on the show.
Actually, really good offer. I have to admit, I was a little tempted, but I kind of held to my price, and I'm glad I did. And you know, for now, I'll just go back into my safe.
Number 2. Signed Princess Leia action figure.
Is that a signature right there?
Yeah, it's signed by Carrie Fisher.
All right.
On this episode, we have an action figure of Princess Leia as a hologram, signed by the late Carrie Fisher.
What do you mean an action figure of a hologram? Because a hologram doesn't exist.
Well, tell that to Tupac, because they had him on stage at Coachella.
The figure is from an image of Leia in the classic scene we all know and love, where she tells Obi-Wan that he is her only hope. Due to this, the item is extremely rare. The seller asks for $1,000, but Rick has to get his Star Wars enthusiast and consultant.
This isn't really a straight up regular issue, okay? So you have this on here. So that's a Comic-Con exclusives. So that adds a little value.
Now knowing for a fact that this piece is completely authentic, the Star Wars consultant agrees with our seller, placing the value at $1,000 as well.
Really nice piece here, Rick.
So what's it worth?
Right at $1,000.
Really?
Absolutely.
Our seller is willing to drop to $750, but Rick goes even lower with $500. A little back and forth as per usual, and the men agree to meet at $550.
All right, I think that's fair.
Okay, sweet.
Thanks.
Go write him up, chum.
This went for a pretty good price for something so rare, don't you think? Number 1. R2-D2 Cooler. At our final spot on the list, we have a nifty little R2-D2 cooler, or trash can, as Chum Lee suggests. Sure, it's not the rarest on this list, but it's definitely a fun item that we all can get behind.
It's quite a piece. I was always fascinated when I saw him in the movie.
The item was given to the seller by a friend that worked at a convenience store after a 20-year anniversary event held there for Star Wars. The seller asked for $600, as he does consider this little icy droid part of the family, but he needs to free up some space at home.
It's a lot of sentimental value more than it is just price value.
Richard was willing to buy it for $500 as he wanted it for himself, but that's even higher than Corey recommends, as it apparently isn't worth that much.
Tell you what, why don't you split it with me for $500 and we got a deal.
Whoa, $500. It's a $120 machine.
Regardless though, Eric refuses the offer, as it's been in his possession too long, and it holds too much emotional value to go for that little, according to him.
Yeah, 500 stops, I'm gonna go, Con.
I guess he's just been in the family too long.
So you're not gonna take it?
No.
Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos on your favorite TV shows, and tap one of the 2 videos on screen for another amazing video.